Hi, my name is Monica, and today I'm going to be teaching you the 3 hypnobirthing breathing techniques. But before I go into details, I'd like to give you an overview of why a specific type of breathing is so important in life in general. The way I'm about to teach you how to breathe makes it almost nearly impossible for you or for anyone who is breathing this way to feel anxious or stressed or in any way panicky or fearful. And the reason that it's nearly impossible to feel these negative emotions is because this type of breathing causes the release of endorphins. And when we release endorphins into our body, we basically counteract the effects of the stress hormones such as adrenaline. So I'm sure a lot of you have heard of belly breathing or yoga breathing, right? So that's where you breathe deeply into your belly, imagining that you're inflating it like a balloon. And as you do that, you take in as much air as possible, usually for a count of 4 or whatever count is appropriate for you. And then maybe you hold it just a little bit at the top. And then as you exhale for twice as long as you had inhaled for. That's kind of the general idea behind belly breathing. So what happens when we do this deep belly breathing is twofold. One, as we lower the diaphragm, we stimulate the vagus nerve. And when we stimulate the vagus nerve in this way, we cause the release of endorphins. And when we release endorphins, as I said a moment ago, we basically make it more difficult for the body to experience the negative effects of the stress hormones, such as adrenaline. In addition to that, when we lower our diaphragm using this belly breathing technique, we expand the lungs. But more importantly, we create more space in the lower lobes of the lungs. Now, the lower lobes of the lungs are bigger and have more air sacs for oxygen exchange than the upper or the middle lobes of the lungs. So what happens when we take that deep belly breath and lower our diaphragm is we allow for more oxygen exchange. And when we allow for more oxygen exchange, we create a more optimum environment for the well-being of our body. In the case of pregnancy, we create more oxygen for our baby, for our uterus, as we're going through the labor process. So every hypnobirthing breathing technique that I'm about to teach you has its foundation in this basic principle, that when we breathe deeply into our abdomen, into our belly, when we lower our diaphragm, when we create more room in the lower lobes of our lungs, we create the opportunity for positive feel-good hormones such as endorphins to flow through our system, and we oxygenate our body so optimally that labor becomes easier. Labor becomes less effortful. Just like doing any kind of athletic activity, you want the optimum amount of oxygen in your body at any given time. The same holds true for labor. So go ahead and click on the other videos here on this page and you'll see what I'm talking about. In the next videos, we're going to cover calm breathing, surge breathing, and birth breathing. Hi everyone, it's Monica again, and in this video I'm going to cover calm breathing. Calm breathing is pretty simple. Calm breathing has a lot in common with that basic yoga belly breathing that I just described a moment ago in the previous video. So calm breathing is a breathing technique in hypnobirthing that you're going to be using in between surges, and surges is the word that us hypnobirthers use to name contractions. So we don't like the word contraction, we like the word surges. It kind of sounds better, makes you feel better about the tightening of the uterus. So you're going to use this technique, calm breathing, in between surges. And so the basic idea behind calm breathing is that you take in a breath deeply into your belly, into your abdomen, like you were inflating a balloon, and you're going to do it for a count, let's say, of 4. So you're going to breathe in through your nose. You're going to hold it a little bit at the top, and you're going to breathe out for twice as long as you breathed in. In my case, I breathed in for a count of 4, and now I'm going to breathe out for a count of 8. start first because I was just talking. I'm going to take in another breath. So I'm sure it was not that easy to tell, but I took in a breath for a count of 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I held it for a count of 2. 1, 2. And then I breathed out for a count of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I would do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. I would hold it for a count of 2. And then I would breathe out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's basically calm breathing in a nutshell. You can practice calm breathing before your labor starts at home, preferably a few weeks before your due date, so that you get into a really good rhythm of how to breathe using this calm breathing, hypnobirthing technique in between surges, so that you remain oxygenated, you remain relaxed, you remain refreshed in between surges throughout your labor, making each and every surge easier than the one before it. Now, go ahead and check out the surge breathing video coming up next. All right, Monica again here with birth breathing. So birth breathing is the last hypnobirthing breathing technique, and you will use the birth breathing technique when you're pushing your baby out. So whether you're on an epidural or whether you're doing a natural birth, doesn't matter, birth breathing works great. So the idea behind birth breathing is that you're not forcing the baby out, you're actually relaxing your muscles at the same time as you're creating pressure in your abdomen. So you can think of it like you're creating pressure in your abdomen while you're also relaxing and oxygenating your muscles. So this is important both for the baby. Again, you want to oxygenate the baby. You also want to oxygenate the uterine muscles, and you also want to protect your pelvic floor, right? So if we were doing the standard classic push, 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 push thing, we may not be relaxing the muscles the way we should be in the pelvic floor. And what could happen, potentially, maybe, maybe not, is that we can damage the pelvic floor as the baby is being pushed out, because the muscles of the pelvic floor are tight. We're pushing against those muscles, and that can cause damage. And that damage can cause problems later on. So birth breathing is a type of push breathing or pressure breathing where you're creating a pressure in your abdomen. At the same time, you're relaxing your muscles and you're oxygenating your muscles, and you're working with the natural expulsive reflex of the body, which is naturally guiding the baby out of the uterus and into the birth canal and out into the world. And it looks like this. You're going to take a quick inhale. And you're going to breathe down, imagining that you're breathing down the spine and kind of in a J motion out through your birth canal. So for those of you that do yoga, it has a little bit in common with the Ujjayi breath, the breathing where you're breathing and making that sound down the back of your throat. In your imagination, you're breathing down your spine and down in a kind of J motion and out through your birth canal. So again, it looks like this. So you're kind of wrapping yourself around your baby, you're kind of curving your body around your baby, and you're using that breath to direct and guide the baby out through the birth canal, which is exactly what the muscles of your uterus are doing, is guiding your baby down and out through the birth canal. And it's something that you can practice and should practice weeks before the birth, weeks before your due date. It does take a little bit of practice, but the best place to practice this breath is on the toilet. So maybe that's TMI, but every time you use the bathroom, go ahead and practice that birth breathing technique, this birth breathing technique, and especially in the morning when you first go, and use that opportunity of passing something through your body. It's not a baby, to practice the breathing technique, and you'll find that going to the bathroom is easier and your technique gets better and better each time you do it. And then when the time comes for you to breathe your baby out, it'll be a piece of cake. And again, it doesn't matter if you're on an epidural, if you're having a medicated birth, or if you're a natural mom that wants to have a natural birth. Doesn't matter. Either way, the baby's coming out through the birth canal, right? So we want that passage to be through a relaxed set of muscles, not through a tight, tense set of muscles, right? We want your body to heal well after the birth, and having those soft and supple muscles will facilitate that postpartum healing rather than trying to push the baby through tense muscles. So birth breathing, practice it on the toilet every day, weeks before your birth. Quick inhale in, and a nice forceful ujjayi type of breathing down and out as you curl around your baby and your belly. Hi there, it's Monica again, and in this video I'm going to share with you the surge breathing hypnobirthing technique. And what the surge breathing technique does is it helps you to work with your body, with your uterus during your surges, which, as you remember, is what we call contractions. We don't like the word contractions. It sounds too tightening, too negative. We focus on the word surges. And so surge breathing is the breathing technique you'll use during the surges. And as you know, surges can take anywhere from a few seconds to a minute or more, right? So as you're doing your surge breathing, what you're going to focus on is taking a long, slow breath, as long and as slow as humanly possible, but you're going to count rapidly. So this is the basic premise behind the surge breathing technique. You're going to take a long, slow breath to a rapid count of 20. At first, you might only get to maybe number 13 or number 15, but you're going to take as long and as slow a breath as possible to a nice, rapid, brisk count of 1 to 20, or as far as you can go. And the more you practice, the longer you'll be able to draw out your breath, and the higher the number that you'll be able to reach. So I'm not going to breathe, I'm going to count instead, just to show you. Here's the pace at which you'll be counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. That's the pace at which you're going to count. However, you're going to be breathing like this. You're going to take a very long, very slow inhale, breathing into your belly again, working with the upward motion of your abdomen. As your abdomen pulls up and squeezes in order to help the baby move down into the birth canal, you're going to be working with that upward tightening of the uterus by breathing into your belly, oxygenating your baby, and allowing the whole process to function much more smoothly. So you're going to breathe like this. So that was one breath. I counted rapidly up to 20, and I kept inhaling even when I felt like I honestly had no more room. So first I filled the lower lobes of my lungs with breath, then I filled the middle lobes of my lungs with breath, then I filled the upper lobes of my lungs with breath, and then I tried to get just a little bit more in there, just a little bit more, and then I started to count down. So as I counted up to 20, and then I counted down. You could also just count up to whatever, and then count, even as you're breathing out, you count up. It doesn't really matter if you're counting up or down. The bottom line is your mind stays focused on the counting, your breath stays nice and long and slow, and you're getting all of that oxygen into your belly, into your body, into your baby, so that you have such a easy time with each and every surge, that each surge feels easier than the last one. So that as your labor progresses, you actually feel better. You feel more refreshed, more oxygenated than you did at the beginning, because you're doing this deep breathing technique. Now, during each surge, you might have to do more than one surge breath. It's very likely that you'll have to do at least two, but at least you know that with each deep breath, you're delivering pure oxygen to your baby, and you're helping your body to do its job very efficiently and very effectively. So again, a long, slow breath to a rapid count of 20, imagining that you're inflating your belly like a balloon, and you're wrapping your baby in oxygen and helping him or her to have a nice, natural descent down the birth canal. One thing I'd like to mention is that it doesn't even matter if you're on an epidural or you're birthing naturally. So moms that decide that they want to do an epidural, you'll know when you're having a surge because the monitor will tell you, and you can still deliver this oxygen to your baby during each surge if you're on an epidural. So please remember that hypnobirthing is not just for moms who want a natural birth. Hypnobirthing techniques apply to all moms, whether they're doing an epidural, a medicated birth, or a natural childbirth. At the end of the day, the baby is being squeezed whether you're feeling it or not. So wouldn't it be nice to give your baby that oxygen and do this surge breathing, even if you yourself are not experiencing the tightening sensations of each surge? So with that, go ahead and check out the next video on birth breathing. Hi, my name is Monica, and today I'm going to teach you the progressive muscle relaxation technique that we use in hypnobirthing. Now, this is a rapid progressive muscle relaxation technique, and it involves imagining that your body is divided into 5 zones. So zone 5 is from your head to your shoulders. Zone 4 is from your shoulders to your waist. Zone 3 is from the top of your waist to just below your hips. Zone 2 is down to your knees, and zone 1 is all the way down to your feet, from your knees to your feet. And so the idea is that with practice, you'll be able to count down in your mind 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you can relax the muscles in that zone of your body with each number that you count. So for example, if I was wanting to relax right now, I would say to myself, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And as I said each of those numbers, I would be saying it silently, of course. I would bring awareness to that zone of my body. This is zone 5. And then I would bring awareness to the zone 4 of my body, and then zone 3 and 2 and 1. And I would relax those muscles in that area. So of course, when you first start practicing this technique, you're going to need a little bit more time to relax yourself completely. But with practice, just like with anything else, repetition is the mother of skill. You will become extremely skillful at this rapid progressive muscle relaxation technique that you will use during your birth. Now, this progressive muscle relaxation technique is extremely useful regardless of whether you're having a natural birth or you're having a medicated birth or you're having a C-section. So relaxation is always a good thing. It's always good to go, for example, into surgery feeling good, feeling relaxed, feeling confident. So I teach this technique and encourage moms to learn this technique even if they have no intention of going au naturel with their birth. So we want to release endorphins, we want to release positive, feel-good neurochemicals in our body, and creating physical relaxation is one of the first ways that you can achieve that positive, healthy biochemistry inside your body. Again, regardless of whether you're having a natural birth or all the way to the other side, a C-section. Just to recap, 5 zones of the body. 5 is from your head to your shoulders, 4 is from your shoulders to your waist, 3 is from the top of your waist to the bottom of your hips, 2 is down to your knees, and 1 is all the way down to your feet, knees to feet. And you're going to silently say to yourself, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, relaxing all the muscles in those areas of the body. And you can use different techniques like imagining that yourself in vivid color, and then as you say each number, now this area is gray, now this area is gray, and as the area of your body becomes gray in your mind's eye, the area of your body relaxes physically. Lots of different ways to make this a really effective technique. We teach all of those different ways in our hypnobirthing classes that we host here at Nova Hypnosis and Wellness on a regular basis. I hope to see you at one of those classes soon. Hi there, Monica again. Now, I just taught you 3 hypnobirthing breathing techniques, and I taught you a rapid progressive muscle relaxation technique. These 4 techniques are awesome at creating a positive physical and mental state for having a baby, whether you're having a natural birth, a medicated birth, or a C-section. I did want to mention a few other techniques that we teach here in hypnobirthing that I can't really do justice in a short video like this. The first technique I'd like to mention is the establishment of an anchor. So an anchor, it can be a word or a gesture or a visualization, like a symbol, that creates or triggers a certain emotional state. So for example, the word lavender. The word lavender, to many people, creates the sensation or the idea of relaxation, right? The smell of lavender is relaxing, lavender fields are beautiful, that sort of thing. Some people might want to use the word lavender as a anchor to generate a feeling of relaxation in the body. And in hypnobirthing, we can do that. We take the time, we really ingrain that anchor, maybe the word lavender, maybe a different word, into a person's conscious and subconscious mind, so that anytime they hear that word, that anchor, lavender, they're going to go into a deep state of relaxation. Maybe somebody doesn't like the word lavender, but they like a certain gesture, like maybe a hand on the shoulder. That gesture of pressing down on the shoulder can be an anchor to generate a very deep, very complete state of relaxation. So we play around with this idea of anchors, and we establish them into the mom so that when their birth partner performs that gesture or says that word, mom just goes right into a nice deep state of relaxation, allowing her body to open and allowing for the surges to do their job, allow the baby to exit the body. Another thing that we teach is a technique called disappearing letters. So it's another way of relaxing oneself mentally this time. And it's a little bit difficult for me to convey that in a video, but that's another rapid muscle relaxation and mental relaxation technique. Another thing we do in hypnobirthing is fear release. So a lot of people have fears associated with childbirth because of the way childbirth is portrayed in the media. Every time you watch a movie, some woman is screaming and yelling and it's, oh my God, so painful. Or we've heard horrible birthing stories from our family and our friends who mean well, but it doesn't help us to develop confidence. So what we do in hypnobirthing is we help moms to release any and all fears associated with childbirth, maybe stemming from the stories of others or stemming from their own birth experiences. And obviously that's not something I can do in a short video. So these, in addition to the breathing techniques and the progressive muscle relaxation techniques, are all things that we incorporate into our hypnobirthing classes, in addition to labor positions that we cover, in addition to mental rehearsal about how moms want to have the kind of birth that they want to have. We encourage them to imagine it over and over and over again, to really focus their minds and their attention on the kind of birth that they want versus worrying about the birth that they don't want. We don't focus on what we don't want in hypnobirthing. We only focus on what we do want. And so that's what I think is so special about hypnobirthing. I love teaching it. It's one of my favorite things to do. I really hope to see you at one of our upcoming hypnobirthing classes here at Nova Hypnosis and Wellness in McLean.